A New Home for Gail the Snail by Mandy Williams. One cool evening deep in the forest, a young snail slipped happily on an overripe berry. All around her, the falling red and gold leaves meant that colder weather would soon be on the way. Squishy yum gone! Gail wanted more to eat before her long winter sleep. Scamper pluck up and down. Nutso the squirrel was busy collecting acorns in an oak tree, high above the hungry snail. Tumble, drop, crack! A runaway acorn bounced off Gail's beautiful shell. With a quick shake of his bushy tail, Nutso was at Gail's side. They stared at the large crack. "My house!" Gail cried. Nutso felt awful. How would a broken shell keep Gail warm and snug this winter? Perhaps she would need a new home. His whiskers twitched madly. Who could help? Nearby, Sylvie Spider heard the noise and scuttled over. "I'm making a cozy nest out of my silky webbing under that rock," she said, pointing. "I could make one for you too," she kindly offered Gail. Gail's tentacles shook sadly as she said, "My house is my home, I carry it when I roam. No, the other house will do, I just want to cry, boo-hoo." Hop, 2, 3, 4, hop, 2, 3, 4. An army of ants looking for food marched past. Nutso stopped the ants and explained what had happened to Gail's shell. "Do you have a warm and comfortable home you could share with my friend?" he asked the ants hopefully. The ants thought of their dry tunnels under the soil, safe from the coming cold and rain. "Would you like to live underground with us?" the ants asked Gail politely. Gail's tentacles shook sadly as she said, "My house is my home, I carry it when I roam. No other house will do, I just want to cry, boo-hoo." Bzzz, bzzz, bzzz. 3 busy honeybees peered curiously out of a wildflower growing above the gathering crowd of insects. "We huddle together in our sticky hive to keep warm," they buzzed. "It gets a little crowded and fuzzy, but there's always room for one more." Gail's tentacles shook sadly as she said, "My house is my home, I carry it when I roam. No other house will do, I just want to cry, boo-hoo." Then the leaves began to crunch, crickle, and rustle as a blobby blue shape slid up to the insects. It was Doug the Slug. Everyone knew him because he was neither friendly nor polite. He looked at Gail and said, "Your ridiculous shell really needs to go. Look at me, I'm so handsome without one, you know. Winter is not something I have to fear, because slugs really are the best, my dear." Laughing unkindly, he continued on his slimy journey. Gail's tentacles drooped, a tear trickled down her face, and then she hid herself away in a broken home. Oh no! The friends needed a much better plan to help Gail, so they plotted and planned, and then the bees fetched some honey, the ants carried mud, Sylvie spun some fine thread, and Nutso collected yucky slime from Doug's trail. Ew! They worked long into the night. Finally, the sky began to lighten, and Gail, who had fallen asleep, began to wake up. But wait, something felt different, wonderfully different. Carefully, she left the safety of her shell and saw a beautiful flower-shaped patch covering the ugly crack. Gail smiled at her tired but waiting friends. "My home is almost as good as new, with a patch made lovely by all of you. What more can a happy snail say except, 'Hip, hip, hooray!'" The end.